So we were about to create a class, and meanwhile let me remind you that I already told you guys that you can instead of working in this virtual lab, you can work in the Jupyter in parallel. Jupyter. So what's the reason to working in the Jupyter? Sometimes as this is connected with the internet, this virtual classroom, so it doesn't respond you that well. So if you copy and paste or write your own code in Jupyter, it will work as well. So here, like I will go to the desktop, so create a your folder in the desktop, which I have already created, Python data science. And from here I was working Python basics, classes and objects. I worked already uh, here. So you can see this is my source code for this course. Okay, so creating a class. So class, we were here, class definition, class, circle, name of the class and object in the parenthesis. Then let's move forward. So class, circle and object, this is define your class. So this is the circle class. Then data attribute used to initialize object. So remember when we were dealing with the circle, so we needed like radius and color for the circle. So you will say define or def underscore init underscore and in the parenthesis you will say self, comma, what you will always say self, then comma, then data attribute that you will be using, radius, comma, color, and then you will say self dot radius is equals to the radius and self dot color is equals to the color. This is the standard protocol, and all the data will be stored in the self. All the attributes will be stored in the self. And then def add circle. So this is the method, data attribute used to initialize the object. Once you initialize the object, then you can use method used to add r to the radius. Then you are using a method to add a radius r to the radius of the original circle. Then you can say add def add radius self comma r, and then self dot radius is equals to self dot radius plus r, and return self dot radius. Okay, so here you see the next step is special method. So def add radius self comma r, and then self dot radius is equals to self dot radius, that was the original radius, plus r, the new variable that you will enter, and return self dot radius. Okay, so what it says, let's go through the explanation as well. The next step in the special method called a constructor init init underscore, which is used to initialize the object. The input are data attributes. Okay, you have to input data attributes. The term self contains all attributes in the set as mentioned. Then for example, the self dot color gives the value of attribute color, and self dot radius will give you the radius of the object. We will also have method add underscore radius with the parameter r. The method adds the value of r to the radius, to the attribute radius. To access the radius, we use the syntax self dot radius. Okay, the labeled syntax is summarized in figure 5. So this is figure 5, and whatever we will be using it in the code. So before going here, just quickly run it as well, so that the matplotlib.pyplot SPLT library is already imported in the database. So the actual this is also sometimes the students make the mistake, they don't run from the start, or they don't import the library from the start, and then they see that it's not running. So you have to import each and every time you come to the class, like you enter the this virtual classroom or virtual lab. So the actual object is shown below. We include the method draw circle to display the image of the circle. We set all the attribute, we set default radius to 3 and the default color to blue. So now you are going to define the class circle object. This is the standard way we will be using. This is the class definition, and here the name of the class is circle and object is the parent. Then constructor, we are going to construct the object first. Define init self comma radius equals to 3, color is equals to blue, and self dot radius is equals to radius self dot color is equals to color. Then define add underscore radius self comma radius, then semicolon, and from self dot radius is equals to self dot radius plus r, and then return self dot radius. So you see, these are basically the functions. This is within the class we are using the functions that we studied in the uh, last lab or last lecture. So if you know the function, you can easily go and create class. If you don't know the function, so you have to work with the function first. And then method. Now here the parent circle is created. You can make changes as well, but here defined circle is with the radius 3 and color is blue. Now a method is added in which you can add r to the radius of the circle, and then method define draw circle self. So by using this, you will be drawing the circle, and you need to, like, this is a standard syntax and there is no logic in it, that kind of. So you will have to like write it for yourself, or you can get it from the Google. So which is equals to plt dot. So what was plt? Remember, plt was, like we said, import matplot.pyplot as plt. It means that we will be referring this library as plt. So you see plt.gca, this is a method from the library. Gca bracket dot add patch, then parenthesis plt dot circle. We will be using plt circle 00 comma radius is equals to self dot radius, because we already stored the radius in self dot radius, and fc is equals to self dot color, which will be the color we already mentioned here. For standard, this is blue, and then plt axis scale and plt show. Okay, so this will create a circle. So you defined a class already, and when we will call this class, it will be a circle will be drawn. For example, creating an instance of the class circle. So you have created a class like circle, and now we will be creating an instance of the class. Like for example, we had, like, this was the class of the circle, and we created 3 instances of different radius and different color. So here also we are creating different instances of the class. For example, we say red circle is equals to circle 10 radius. So whenever it will come to circle, it will go to the class circle, and you have mentioned like 10, so 10 will be taken as radius 10, and you have mentioned red, so it will consider the color equals to red. So if you like run it from here, it should give you the radius. Okay, so you will wonder why it's not giving me a circle, because I didn't call the method draw circle till now. I just created an instance, but when I will call draw circle, it will go to this function, and then a circle will be drawn for you. So we can use a dir command to get a list of objects methods. Many of them are default Python methods. For example, dir red circle, so it will give us list of objects methods. So that's not that's the complete detail that we don't need right now. So we will move forward. We can look at the data attribute of the object. So for example, if you say red circle you created dot radius, so it will give you 10 because you entered 10 over there. And if you say what was the color, so red dot circle dot color, it will give you red. So you say red circle dot radius is equals to 1. So from before you entered 10, now it will be 1. So when you say red circle dot draw circle with parenthesis, so it will draw a circle for you. Okay, because when you say dot draw circle, it will go here to the definition draw circle, and it will draw a circle for you. So here you change the radius to 1, so that's why you say 0. Okay, so okay, was 10 here, and let's see. Okay, so you change the radius 1 here. Previously it was 10, so now as you change this to 1, so the radius is changed to +1 and -1. If you want to change the radius to 5, let's say radius is 5 now, and if you draw it, the radius is from 5. The radius is 5. For example, this is -4 and it goes to 5 and +5 and -5, you see over here. So if you say 6, you can easily visualize it. 6. So it gives me the graph, basically is giving me only the even scales. So we can increase the radius of the circle by applying the method add radius. Let's increase the radius by 2 and then by 5.